Hey everybody, welcome back to Welker Farms. It's time to go outside. I got some cool stuff to show you. Things are happening out there. It's changing for the better. So, let's go out the door, but first, this video is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. We'll talk about that soon. Let's go outside. It's begun. Our yearly river has opened up here in the middle of the farmyard like it does every year. Except for when it's dry like the last 2 years. But this year, we had some snow and it's finally starting to melt. Normally about this time we'd be in the ground seeding, but we got a couple weeks before we even get close to that. So that's amazing. But with that said, it's nice to see water moving on the farm. This is all that snow, it's melting, filling reservoirs, flowing around. So we'll have some moisture to start this year off, that's for sure. Now, will we continue to get the moisture? Time will tell. But let's go check the farm, let's drive around, let's see if we can find some cool water moving. Looks like we got water going across the road here. Don't roll the window down, bad idea. I think this is the end of the road for me here. As in, the road is literally underwater. There goes all of our nitrogen. Just a little bit. We didn't put much down last year anyway, so not really losing that much. Treat my pickup well. Really well. Oh boy. I suppose enough sightseeing. Let's get back and watch the pickup. Can't have it dirty after all that work I did. Oh yeah. Don't wash your pickups in the wind. I need a new sweatshirt. Bam! Good to go. Let's talk about our video sponsor. So what is a VPN? A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's a means to encrypt the connection between your device and the internet to help secure your data and make sure no one can get to it from inside. Now, when you connect to the internet, you're assigned an IP address. That's every device is assigned an IP address. That IP address is your digital address. And that address can be tracked to a location. A VPN blocks that. And it does this by giving you a fake location. So it might say that you live, somewhere on the other side of the world. Wherever you pick, you can actually select on a list here where you'd like to show. So that way, advertisers can't pinpoint exactly your location and where you're at. So if you like that and you kind of don't want people knowing exactly where you're at and where you're logging on the internet from, it helps. And with the ever increasing attempts to censor the internet, a VPN can help keep it free. And I like freedom. It's a good thing. If you fly frequently and are on the airport's Wi-Fi or coffee shop's Wi-Fi that's typically pretty unsecure, I highly recommend going over to your Apple or Android store and downloading Surfshark VPN, hit Quick Connect, and then in just a few seconds your data can be that much more secure because it's going to be encrypted. So if you're interested, go to surfshark.deals/Welker and use promo code Welker to get 83% off and an additional 3 months. Or you can go to the link in the description below. Sound good? Let's get back to work. Well, Big Brute, been hanging kind of tight in here. Haven't done much with him since the starter. We're still waiting on parts for these booms, for the bracketry to be able to put the weeded system on it. So this is getting put on hold, but let's go outside for a minute. You notice our river is dried up. And it's supposed to be 70 degrees Fahrenheit today, and it was 65 yesterday and the wind blowing, and there is not an ounce of snow left in the fields. So things are moving quick. And I think if it stays this way and we can get all of our ducks in a line in order, we should be able to seed next week. So we got a lot of work to do. First things first, we got to put some duals on a big bud. We've been holding off putting the duals on this bud because it was in the shop all winter. We did a bunch of work, as you guys have seen. But now it's time to put some duals on it and a ladder, get it out. This bud, the steering sector, was tight. It was way too tight from the factory for whatever reason, and it was causing our auto steer to overheat. We had no idea what was going on. We sent the steering sector, the hand pump off to get looked at. They said, oh, it's just bolted together too tight. Well, we could have loosened that up. Anyways, with that said, it's back. So we got to put that back into Series 2. And then I have a guy coming this week, hopefully. He's going to set the injectors on these two tractors because I didn't do that because I didn't have the right tools. He'll come and he'll do that. So both these buds will have the injectors set correctly. They've been, the valves have been set. So they should be good to go. We'll get both these buds out of here and outside and ready to start hooking some air drills up to it. Now, these things. Big Brute upgrades, courtesy of Titan Tire. We'll get to those when we get to those, which will hopefully be soon. But we gotta get them out of the way to get this girl out. So, Leg Arms has come back with kits here from his house site. He was using it over there, so he'll be here in a minute. And we'll shuffle all these items out of the way and start the beast up, get it outside. Let's go get some duals. I think I remember where they were at. Let's see if I can pick them up like this. Leg Arms looking for a chain that we use all the time, but I'm just curious if I can get this under there. Yep. Almost got it. Now it's working. There we go. All right. Let's do it. Now after we get just a little bit of time in the field, we'll come back and hit them all again. Make sure they're all snug and tight because things loosen up. Even you think you might have it tight, but then once you go put it through the forces of driving through field with uneven ground and a lot of horsepower pulling something heavy, yeah, it's a good idea to tighten it again. So we'll torque them all again in a day. Now we got the big bud all dualed up, done some work to the engine, fixed a lot of pins, hydraulic cylinders, Fixed the radiator. It's ready for some field work. It's ready for some mud, and we've got mud. So we figure we better add some more weight to this thing so it gets stuck easier, right? So since we've been partnered with Case IH, we've been offering a lot of demos over the last couple of years. And this is the next one on the farm. This is the Case IH 3555 air cart. Not as big as its bigger brother, the 3725. This is a 550 bushel air cart. We did have the 725 bushel air cart a year and a half ago. So it's a little bit smaller, a little less weight on the drawbar, but it's still a tow-between setup. And this will pair nicely with our 70-foot 700 air drill. So I'm excited. We got to do a little bit of work in there, set up. Got some hoses to put on it. A couple of wiring harnesses here and there, just odds and ends, nothing real serious. Meters to put in. But this setup's always been a dream to run since we had the first 3555. We had a disc drill for about 2 days on the farm, and it had the same cart on it. This one's got some updates. The other one has like scales. The other one didn't have that. But with that said, this meter setup on here is really slick, really slick. So we're really excited to run it. So we're gonna get to work making this happen. So welcome to the farm, the 3555, or should I say the triple nickel? No, 3 triple nickel. The 3 triple nickel? Does that even make sense? I got work to do. We gotta go to another big bud. Let's get to that. But with that said, be prepared to see that thing rolling in the field. Air carts, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. That's a medium-sized one these days. Isn't that wild? Should we go chase a service truck and a Magnum tractor? Yeah, it already took off. I'll show you what you guys were doing. Let's just go. Won't be long. We won't need those doors on there anymore. It's getting warmer out here. Coming through. Move over. Sure nice seeing all that standing water out there. It's a good sight. The Welker Lake, which is right over here, which occasionally is full of a bunch of water, actually has some decent water in it right now. So the runoff filled her up. It's not as full as I've seen it, but it's going to have some water through the whole seeding season. So the birds are going to be happy. A lot of migration happening. So yeah, good stuff. All those Canadian geese going back to Canada where they belong until the fall comes and they come back. But until then, you can take them, you Canadians. We can poop up there. He's bringing the battery. Oh, the old Series 1. Originally an HN 250, and then it became an HN 350, and then now is an N14 435. And so we are going to pull off Bob's Big Bud Bin Boom from it, because this bud is going to get some field work this spring. It's going to pull a land roller, a big land roller. So, what's that? No battery? Oh. So you thought that he put it in the bucket, I thought that you put it in your truck, and I didn't take it at all. Do you want me to go get it? I could rub Leg Arm's hair while he grabs both ends, see what happens. Frazzle it, see if we build up static electricity. We're gonna need some cranking amps for this thing, because it tends to leak its fuel back. There was a story, it probably didn't happen on this farm a while back. It wasn't this far, I mean, it might have been, but we won't pretend it is. Where there was a crack in the fuel tank right up here, and water would pool up there and leak into the fuel tank, and it filled the fuel tank up with about that much water, and it was pumping it through the engine into the fuel system, and it may have damaged the injection pump a little bit. Just a story. So we have new injectors in it. It's the original injection pump, but
based on maybe current events.
Yeah, you don't trust the news these days, so it's all biased. So yeah, don't believe it. But with that said, there's a chance it might have a weak injection pump. Whatever reason, it leaks its fuel back into the tank. We put a check valve on it, still does it. So we're gonna have to address that later. But with that said, the first time, I said with that said a lot. First time this thing's gonna run, it's gonna take some cranking. So we'll see. I'm guessing a minute of cranking. So we've got the Magnum here for the loader purpose. The big front end loader is hanging out at Leg Arm's house. So this is the next best thing. So we're gonna run this over, and we'll use the bucket to slowly lower Bob's Big Bud Bin down after we've unhooked all the cables. So let's drive this thing over and get it set up. Who designed that? Man, that is nice.
I think Milwaukee did.
Oh, I was talking about the tractor, but. So what we've got to do now, because there's kind of a lot of stuff here that would love to get snagged on this, as we pull this out. 2 big pins there and there. Lift this up, come out and around. So that's what boom truck is for. It's gonna hook on this, we'll lift it up slowly, and we'll kind of work it back as we probably drive the tractor forward once we get it started. Okay, that one's disconnected. Let's see here, this one, still tight. I might have to get an hammer on it. There we go, it's going now. Okay, a little bit more. There you go, it's free. All right, boom's down. Service truck's there. The bud needs fuel, as it turns out. So I'm gonna run the tractor back because we don't need this here anymore. So, hang on, he's waving at me. Might as well pull another back while we're at it. Well, it makes sense. All right, this is the one that's gonna stay off the drill this year. This cart's gonna be parked for this season. We're gonna run the 4350 on the other bud, the Series 2, but this one, this toolbar is gonna go on that 3555. Got a question for you Magnum transmission fanatics out there, because I'm sure there's a lot of you that are really familiar with these things, because I'm not. So, when I go to shift this thing, first time starting off, I put it in the forward drive gear and nothing. Doesn't bump, doesn't creak, doesn't jerk, nothing. So I have to take it over, put it in reverse for a second, let the clutch out slowly, then all of a sudden the transmission starts doing things, and then I pop back over in forward drive, and it's good to go forward for a while. And it's really annoying. And it's been this way ever since we got it back from the dealership that worked on this transmission a year and a half ago. And they rebuilt the transmission, but something, is that a linkage problem? Is that a pressure setting and what's inside the transmission? So let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious, because I'd like to get that fixed. It's quite annoying. Oh, can't see that. Keys are right here for it. I think Scott might have put it there. All right, here we go. Let's see here, smells like mice. Why wouldn't that surprise me? Good. Make sure we're out of gear. All right, let's try it. Oh. It's gonna take a little bit to get this thing primed with fuel. That didn't take very long at all. I was wrong. Okay. Nice. She's purring. What do we got for pressure here? Oil pressure. It's like about 15, 20 pounds, somewhere in that area. So far, so good. Burns.
The weather turned nice, sun's out, no wind, and we are at the Welker Ski Hill. All right. I would say this is hilarious. Ready, Patch? Here we go.
Yummy.